Hi guys, and welcome to the Horror Room. So today I decided to show you guys some of my horror books. I have quite a few. Not going to include the Goosebumps books because I have way too many of those. And I didn't drag out, like sequel books and stuff because it's like I can just show you one and kind of tell you what I got. But let's begin. I have this Ripley's Believe It or Not Create Your Own Horror Movie book. This was kind of like a little odd thing that I found at a Goodwill. Um, and it's got like some goofy illustrations and whatnot, talking about writing scripts and doing music and stuff. How to do your setting and your character, like what time period you should put it in. Let's read some of the makeup tips just for fun. Black or gray circles under the eyes are great for corpses. White makeup looks ghostly, of course, but don't forget to whiten the lips too for that kiss of death look. Yellow skin gives the appearance of illness and wasting away. A little blood goes a long way. Too much can look fake. Now, I do agree with that. Let's continue. Read a little bit more of this. Using the blood and gore. To make a scar, roll a small amount of the clear wax into a snake-like shape and press it on skin. Add water to help smooth it. To create a cut, use the end of the brush to draw a line through the wax. Moisten the brush with a little water before applying the blood. Then paint the red blood through the wax cut. So there you go. Some pretty cool tips for creating scars and stuff. Yeah, and it's just talking about the idea of, creating a horror story. Running time. It's got some more. It's like a little fake script, giving you an idea of what you'd be going for. Making the movie, casting the actors, props and equipment, storyboards and composition. So this thing is pretty good detail for this tiny book, and it's put in a way that kids can understand and stupid adults like me. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. It even says at the end, start working on a sequel. It's pretty spot on. Next, we have a book that is not so much a horror as a true crime book, but those events can be horrific. And there's a lot of true crime books that I'm interested in getting. There's this one, I cannot remember the name of it now, of course, when I need to know it. But the guy was really disgusting, and the look he had was very creepy. He used like an old Topstone vampire girl mask, and it's disturbing. It's the stuff of nightmares, like, and it predates like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween, of course, and it's of course real. I want to say it even predates Ed Gein. If we're talking real events, maybe. If I can figure that out, I do want to make a video talking about that guy because, it's creepy. But this is another terrible crime in person, and that is Albert Fish. This book is called The Cannibal. This is a rough read. If you like your true crime books, it's not very long, but it is very rough. It goes into detail, and it's the stuff of nightmares. But this was a cheap find, and I was glad to pick it up and read it. It's also, I think, got some photos in here. Yeah, I'm not going to show any of them. They're not like super graphic, but I mean, yeah. I mean, I could show this one of. It's the same one from the cover. It's just bigger, but so yeah, it's a nice little book, I guess. Next, we have a couple of movie novels that I was excited to get at first, and then I decided, ouch, I'm going to stop. And that, of course, is the Halloween 2018 novel and the Halloween Kills novel. Now, I do like this one. It adds in some unnecessary stuff, pretty much the deleted scenes for both of these. I did like the way they progressed. This one is a little more silly, of course, but it goes into the other guy who escaped besides Michael. I can't remember the guy, but the guy that ended up getting the evil dies tonight treatment. And I was going to get the Halloween Ends graphic novel, but then I saw the movie and I said, ugh. But I watched a review of it, so I know the gist of it. Um, and same thing with the movies. I only own 2018 and Kills. I'm not. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, not gonna find classic Halloween novels for cheap, so I guess I can take these. Next, we have a book that I was a little more excited about, and then I bought it, read it, and it's fine. It has some interesting photos and stuff in here, some behind the scenes stuff. Um, and that is the Lucio Fulci Beyond the Gates tribute to the Maestro book. You get that nice gory Beyond. Is that the Beyond? Pretty sure that's the Beyond. Yeah. Because that's the little girl that gets shot. But it's got a lot of like behind the scenes photos, pictures from his various movies, like The Beyond, of course. Trying to find one for. There's Zombie. So yeah, it's the Murder Rock. That's a less talked about film. But yeah, and you got this ad in the back for these Phantasma books. My bad. Pretty silly. But yeah, it's a nice little book. But it also talks about when Fulci died. It's got some photos of him from different movie sets and stuff. But it also, I will say, this has a useful thing at the end. It also has his filmography. And it's not just, his horror movies that he made. So if you're looking for a list of Fulci directed films, this is pretty essential. And it's got ads for the Laserdisc editions. Whoa! So it's fine to own regardless. Now here's a book I was interested in picking up because I wanted to see how the short story compared to the full-length movie. And that is, of course, Joe Hill, The Black Phone, short stories, whatever. Now, there's a couple different stories in this book. Ones that I think would make great movies. You got, You Will Hear the Locusts Sing. You got The 20th Century Ghosts. The Cape. The Widow's Breakfast. My Father's Mask. There's a lot of good short stories in here. It's been a while since I've read this, but I do recommend it. If you like the movie, check out the book because you're going to notice the Black Phone short story itself is very different from the film, which could be good, could be bad. I thought it was the least interesting story, if I'm going to be honest. So I'm surprised that they chose that to make a full-length movie on. I'm glad they did because I do like the movie, and they're going to make a prequel now, so I'm looking forward to that. Next, we have one of my absolute hands-down favorite books, and that is the Zombie Survival Guide. Now, most people will go for World War Z, which is fine, but it's a little more historical and stuff. It's fine. It's better than the movie, I'll give it that. And if I found World War Z for cheap enough, I'd probably buy it and read it again. But this book is so great because it details, survival strategies and weaponry and the basic places that you would think to go to in a zombie apocalypse and the pros and cons. It talks about different weapons. It talks about armor. It talks about terrain and weather conditions. It is so detailed and I absolutely love it. It just kind of puts you in that world. And I think, honestly, if something like that were to happen, this would be the first book I would grab because it's so useful. I think there's even a chapter where it talks about prepping before the apocalypse and stuff. Like what you should have to go beforehand. So yeah, this is a great book. If you're into survival prep or you just want to, kind of learn some ins and outs of the zombie apocalypse what ifs, this is what you need. There's also a flashcard set that I have, and it has different facts and info for each of the weapons and terrains and stuff. And it's like a what's that word I'm looking for? Cliff note. It's like a Cliff note version of this. So I'd recommend picking that up too. Next, we have one of my favorite movies translated into a novel, and it is definitely something, and that is the Toxic Avenger novel. Uh, there's a lot of weird stuff in here. Some of the chapter names, too. Like, let me read you some of these. Uh, Gangs of New Dork. I don't even know if I can say that one on YouTube. Here, I'll say this one then. Bloodbath at the International House of Pancakes. Uh, Gore on the 4th of July. Where's that one? I just saw that one. Maybe it's back here. What? I swear I just saw that. Anyways. So yeah, it's a novel based on the movie. They add some stuff in here, more character development, more in depth about some of the characters that you don't get to see a lot, like Bozo and Julie. Um, I think even Melvin's mom has more of a presence in this book. It's got some behind the scenes photos from the movie, and it's a nice little way to revisit the film without watching the movie, and see it play out in a slightly different way. Um, I just randomly opened to this part and I forgot. It says Toxie needs your help. If you think Melvin should respect the sanctity of sexual intercourse and wait before going to bed with Sarah, turn the book on its side. If you think Melvin should get busy with this beautiful, full, buxom, blind bimbo and go to the fireworks display, continue with the book as written. It's ridiculous. So yeah, it's a good read. It's definitely a little schlocky, like a trauma movie, so you're getting your full money's worth for that. Next, we have a book that I'm still in the middle of because it is so massive. And let's see, it's got 670 pages. And it's a true crime book, and that is Helter Skelter, The Manson Murders. I'm actually just now on the chapter where they're talking about the individual criminals. There's a little bit of photos in here, not too much, but like yeah, you got photos of the Manson family. Uh, yeah, different members of the Manson family, and this is all public knowledge, so stuff that people don't have to freak out. Oh, he's doxing these people. Like Manson is dead, and he's been in jail. Um, so yeah, it's just crazy to read this book and get like all the details and how badly the police and the investigations went. It's nuts. But it's a good read. It's just taken me a while. Now we're moving on to a lot of the bigger books I own. These are some thick boys, as it were. First off, we have the Walking Dead compendiums. These are massive. Like, holy crap! There's 4 of these, and between the 4 of them, they combine all the individual comic releases for The Walking Dead. So if you're a fan of Walking Dead like I am, these are a must-have because buying all the individual issues can get expensive. I think I only paid like $20 to $30 for the first 2, and then I found the third one. I'm still trying to track down the 4th one. But yeah, these are great. The artwork's great. Lots of drama, lots of gore. This is the original thing that got me hooked on it. The show is pretty good too in its own way, but you can't beat the comic books. They're way better in my opinion. Next, we have a book that kind of let me down, and I'll tell you why. Not that it's bad or anything, but that's Haunted Air by Ocean Brown or Ocean Brown. Now, if you look in this book, first off, I love this. It's like an old wallpaper for a house. But you look in here, and it's like an old photo album. And I'm fine with that. And a lot of these pictures, see like that. There you go. They're kind of creepy. They vary from picture to picture. Let me see if I can find one of the ones that oh yeah, there's one. So like this one is like ugh. And it's, you know, it's just kids wearing Halloween costumes from back in the day. But some of these costumes are so crude and like simple that they become kind of disturbing. Um, I think there's not a lot of the racial photographs because there was a lot of costumes back in the day that were borderline, you know, unacceptable by today's standards. Um, but some of the costumes, even just paper masks of like normal people, they're like, ugh. The only thing I don't like about this, I don't mind the presentation of a photo of them. What I do mind is these empty pages. There's so many pages where you turn and there's just one photo. You could put some like above each other. You could put like some next to each other. You could just do two on each. Like, let me find the example. Yeah, like this. That'd be fine too. But to not fill this book and have these empty spots, it definitely feels like a waste of a good book. And this book is amazing, but it makes you want more. And the only way to get more is to go and Google and search for them. So it's kind of disappointing in that regards because I felt like this is a book that people would love to have if only it had more. So I can say Haunted Air, I do recommend it, but don't expect it to be filled to the brim. For that, you might have to go on Google and just look around. Um, Next, we have two of the best books in the industry, and that, of course, is the Grand Illusion Tom Savini special effects books. Now, if you're a big fan of horror, you already know who Tom Savini is, but you might not know that he had these books that showcase some of his special effects work from various movies. Like, you got Creepshow, you got what is that from? The Burning? Yeah, The Burning. You got all this, and it's not all color photos, of course. A lot of it is just, you know, black and white, but they show you how they did the Kevin Bacon arrow thing. That's pretty freaking sweet, right? Then you get into book two, and book two's got like the monkey from Monkey Shines. It's got blood-sucking pharaohs. It's trying to find some of the... Where's the Day of the Dead stuff? That's the... Or there's final chapter. Hold on, let me see if this is even the book. This might not be the right book. Day of the Dead, chapter 10. Okay, it is. Or chapter 10. Section 10. So yeah, you have the classic zombies. They talk about how they ripped the guy's head off. They talk about the body with the brain and the spinal cord attached. Oh, it's just so good. Now, I don't think it covers my favorite thing in this one. Maybe... Oh, actually, it probably does, because it's on the cover. Let me see. Tales from the Dark Side, 54. Hey, look at that. Yeah, and it talks about how they built the Lizzie puppet for Tales from the Dark Side, which is my absolute favorite episode, the In the Closet one. You got pictures of all the zombie makeup he's done. Oh, it's such a fun time looking through all these fantastic special effects from the man himself. So I would definitely recommend picking up these books. They're pretty cheap online, actually. I think I paid maybe $40 for both of them, which is not terrible considering what they are. Next, we have a book that I picked up at Horror Hound. I think it was on my first year that I went. And this is the Tomart's Price Guide to Horror Movie Collectibles. This thing's probably not accurate anymore, but the reason to get it is because it has pages and pages of old, awesome merchandise. You got like all this Alien stuff, and you know I'm a sucker for Alien. I probably have most of the Kenner line. You have Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, which is awesome. You got old classic Universal Monster stuff, which who doesn't love that? Let's see what else. You got Beetlejuice, you got Blade, Buffy, Creature from the Black Lagoon, got Evil Dead. Everybody loves Evil Dead, so this is fun. This is a lot of fun to just look at, and you can say, oh, I didn't know that existed. Of course, you got your Friday the 13th stuff. Look at those beautiful classic masks. I got a few of those myself. Um, yeah, it's great to sit here and look through this. You got the old Puppet Master figures from Full Moon. Got Ghostbusters figures, Gremlins. I'm surprised. I might have skipped it. You even got the McFarlane Movie Maniacs. That's awesome. So this is a really fun book to just sit and look through, like on a day where you're sick or it's raining outside, and just throw on some music and sit back and just flip through this and let the nostalgia take over, and you can be like, wow, I forgot all about this. Good times. Next, we have a book I picked up. I intend to read it. I just haven't gotten around to it. And I've also added another similar book that I want to pick up on Amazon. And it's called Zombies, The Complete Guide to the World of the Living Dead by Zachary Graves. I feel like I have something else of his. Let me look. No, I think I don't know. I might just be mistaken. But, yeah, so you got this book that talks about, it talks about the history of zombies with voodoo rituals and Haitian necromancy, zombie powder. So it's more like, the history, but then you get into like some of the weird real history cases. So it's more of a historical book, but there's lots of interesting stuff in here. The Legend of Frankenstein, which is, of course, connected in a way. White Zombie. Then it gets into the zombie apocalypse territory. Tales from the Crypt. Night of the Living Dead. The Romero zombies. So, of course, it talks about Romero and the Living Dead movies. It talks about zombie-adjacent movies like Evil Dead, Shockwaves. So, yeah. And it's got, like, a top zombie movie list, so yeah, it's got some cool stuff in here. It's probably a more interesting read than I'm giving it credit for. I just need to get around to it. Maybe after I finish the Manson one, I'll catch up on my zombie lore. Next, we have a book that, again, like the Haunted Air one, I was a little let down by, but I decided, hey, it's fine for what it is. And that's Dressed for Thrills, 100 Years of Halloween Costumes and Masquerade. Now, the cover and the art on there, pretty good. You open it up, and it's literally like old, very, very old, vintage Halloween costumes. Sometimes they're displayed on their own. Sometimes people are shown wearing them. Let me see if I can find one. Here's some. These look like the kind of stuff you'd find at like Joann Fabrics or somewhere. Like you get a little packet. It would teach you how to make the costume. A lot of the crude masks in here are just downright disturbing. I'd love to see more of that. And there's a lot of pictures of kids wearing the costumes. I'm not going to show those. It's just a little odd. A lot of them are just empty costumes. There's some stuff in here that could be considered kind of racy. Some more kids in costumes. Yeah, here's some just empty clown costume. Creepy. Now, the reason I bought this book, which, let me see if I can find the section on the Cooperville. Oh, God. There was one of those costumes that, well, that's sort of. Oh, not that one. Okay, here's one. So this is an example of the Ben Cooper costumes, the Cooperville, or whatever, I believe. They were marketed like something. Yeah, but basically it would be like a simple plastic mask and a smock that you'd wear over your shirt. I thought this book was going to be more of that. It's still interesting to look through, and like I said, some of the costumes are a little like I was going to show one, but I decided not to. I definitely don't want to get demonetized or whatever, get in trouble with the old YouTube gods. But I'm sure you can look up some of the costume stuff in this book, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah. So now we're on to the big two books, the best two books I own. First off, we have Halloween Illustrated. This is such a beautiful release. It's the original Halloween movie novel with gorgeous illustrations by Orlando Arocena. I'm probably butchering your name. I'm sorry. But yeah, it has beautiful artwork. I'm trying to show a little bit of it. And if you didn't know, the original Halloween movie novel has a lot of tie-ins and talks about Samhain and how that ties into the mystery behind what makes Michael Myers tick. Now, it doesn't go fully into it, but there are some elements in here, too, where it kind of sexualizes the murder and how it makes Michael Myers feel. But then it just jumps into, the movie story. I was thinking it'd be fun to do, a reading of this at some point on the channel, maybe. Go chapter to chapter, talk about anything that might be a little different from the movie, and show off the artwork. I don't want to show off too much, but I'd say if you haven't gotten a chance to get this book and you find a way to get a chance to get this book, do it. There's lots of variants for the cover art. I decided to get this one because it's the classic novel cover art that I actually really like. So yeah, I cannot recommend Halloween Illustrated enough. Maybe one day we'll get the sequel or some of the other ones. I think that'd be great. At least part 2. I think that'd be good to get part 1 and 2. And then lastly, we have my absolute favorite book, hands down. It's in a little rough shape, but it's the Crystal Lake Memories Complete History of Friday the 13th. This is the essential book for the Friday the 13th fan. It goes from film to film, covering lots of behind-the-scenes stuff, quotes from actors and actresses. It's got notes about the production and the cost and studio interference or whatnot. And it's awesome. It's got some of the practical effects stuff. This is a fantastic own. And there's also the Crystal Lake Memories documentary. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's called something else. It's too far away to grab. But those two complement each other, so you can read the book, watch the documentary, and you get a very comprehensive look into each of the Friday the 13th films. And I think this is a absolute must-have if you are a Friday the 13th fan like I am. So yeah, there you have it. There's all my horror books. If there's any books that you guys recommend that I should get down below, write them. Let me know, because I'm always interested in finding more. I've got a few saved to a wish list, and I'm going to try to get them eventually. Maybe I'll build up a couple of purchases before making another video and showing off some more. And I didn't include the books I got recently in the last pickup video, but you can check that out. I only got 2 books in that one, so... but thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've been enjoying the videos. There's also a poll on my post for what the next video should be, whether or not I should do Mighty Max or the Kenner Aliens or my NECA Ultimates, or more expensive items. And right now there's 2 options that are neck and neck. At least by the time I'm filming this. By the time I post it, who knows? It could have changed, but I guess if I don't have a clear winner, I'll just do both and do one this week, one the next week. But when it comes out, obviously. And not every Wednesday, but every so often I'll have something to share. So I'll probably post a little bit here and there. Been doing a little bit more of the shorts. Haven't really messed with making any playlists. I'll probably do that once there's a lot more videos, so that way there'll be more organized way to look at some of the certain videos I've done or plan on doing, So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and hopefully I've inspired you to check out some of these books if you haven't. Like I said, I would definitely recommend the Friday the 13th one, the Halloween one, the Tom Savini books, and of course definitely the Toxic Avenger one. It's very interesting. But yeah, take care, guys, and I'll see you next time.